Why do some people rise above chaos, while others are crushed by it? Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the most provocative philosophers of all time, believed the answer lies not in fate or luck, but in the strength of your inner will. For Nietzsche, life is not a passive journey, it is a battlefield, where every day you are tested, not only by the world, but by yourself. He argued that the true measure of a person is not how they escape suffering, but how they transform it into power. This transformation comes through what he called the will to power, a force within us that pushes us to grow, create, and overcome. But Nietzsche also issued a warning: most people never access this power. Instead, they settle into mediocrity, clinging to comfort and excuses, adopting values given to them by society rather than creating their own. They live reactively, always blaming circumstances, while a rare few dare to live actively, shaping destiny on their own terms. So the question is simple, but terrifying: are you the master of your life, or a slave to your fears, habits, and conformity? Nietzsche challenges us to confront this truth. If you lack a higher purpose, your suffering will crush you. But if you discover your why, your inner mission, no obstacle can defeat you. The choice between greatness and mediocrity is yours, and Nietzsche's philosophy forces us to face that choice head-on. Nietzsche believed that the true strength of a human being is not measured by wealth, status, or even physical power, but by their ability to endure suffering through purpose. He famously said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." What he meant is simple yet profound: life will never be free of pain, hardship, and uncertainty. The difference between those who rise and those who collapse is not the absence of suffering, but the presence of meaning. A soldier on the battlefield can endure unimaginable horrors if he believes he is fighting for a cause greater than himself. A mother can withstand sleepless nights and endless struggles if she sees her child's future as her mission. An artist can push through rejection after rejection because they know their work has something unique to express. Without this inner why, the same difficulties that make one person stronger will crush another. Nietzsche warned that modern life often strips us of authentic purpose. Many people inherit values from society, religion, or culture without questioning if they truly resonate. They chase careers, goals, or lifestyles because others say they should, not because their soul demands it. The result is a life that feels empty, where even small problems seem unbearable. To live as Nietzsche intended, you must create your own meaning. This is not something society hands to you, it is something you carve out yourself. Ask, what is worth suffering for? What cause, vision, or creation makes pain meaningful? Until you discover your why, you will always be at the mercy of your circumstances. But once you know it, every obstacle becomes fuel, every struggle becomes a step toward greatness, and every hardship becomes bearable. One of Nietzsche's most powerful challenges to humanity was his call to become who you are. At first glance, this sounds simple, but it is, in fact, one of the hardest tasks you can attempt. Most people believe they already know themselves, but Nietzsche argued that what we call our identity is often a borrowed mask. Without this inner why, the same difficulties that make one person stronger will crush another. Nietzsche warned that modern life often strips us of authentic purpose. Many people inherit values from society, religion, or culture without questioning if they truly resonate. They chase careers, goals, or lifestyles because others say they should, not because their soul demands it. From childhood, society tells us what is good, what is valuable, what we should want, and who we should be. Parents, schools, religions, and cultures impose expectations, and slowly, individuals start to mistake these external values as their own. Instead of becoming themselves, they become a copy of the herd. Nietzsche saw this as the greatest tragedy of modern life. People live as shadows of others, never realizing their unique potential. To become who you are requires courage. It means questioning the values you have accepted blindly. It means asking whether the goals you chase, wealth, status, reputation, are truly yours, or simply inherited ambitions that keep you trapped in conformity. It means stripping away illusions until you face your raw self, with all its strengths, weaknesses, desires, and fears. But Nietzsche's point was not just about self-knowledge, it was about self-creation. You are not a fixed entity waiting to be discovered, you are a work of art, something to be shaped, designed, and brought into existence through conscious effort. Becoming who you are means taking responsibility for creating your own values and living by them, even if society rejects them. It means choosing originality over imitation, risk over safety, authenticity over approval. The world does not need more copies, it needs individuals who dare to stand alone, to be different, and to embrace their uniqueness. To live this way is difficult, but it is the only path to greatness. For Nietzsche, mediocrity comes from imitation, power comes from creation. You do not find yourself, you build yourself. And in that act of becoming, you discover what it truly means to live. Nietzsche's idea of the Übermensch, often translated as the Overman or Superman, is one of his most misunderstood yet powerful concepts. It is not about physical strength, domination, or superiority over others, it is about transcending mediocrity, rising above the smallness of ordinary life, and creating your own values in a world that constantly tries to impose them on you. The Overman is the individual who refuses to live passively. He does not wait for permission, does not rely on external authorities to tell him what is good or bad, and does not hide behind excuses. Instead, he becomes the creator of his own destiny, shaping his life as an artist shapes a masterpiece. Nietzsche contrasts this with the figure he called the last man, a person who avoids risk, seeks only comfort, and lives in shallow pleasures. The last man fears struggle, innovation, and individuality. He is satisfied with mediocrity, and for Nietzsche, this was a symptom of cultural decline. The Overman, by contrast, embraces life in its fullness. He is willing to endure hardship, even suffering, because he knows greatness requires sacrifice. He dares to think independently, even if it isolates him. He rejects conformity, even if it makes him unpopular. In essence, the Overman is the living embodiment of the will to power, someone who rises above their limitations, not to dominate others, but to master themselves. Nietzsche challenges us with a question: are you becoming the Overman, constantly striving toward higher ideals, or are you content to be the last man, satisfied with safety and smallness? To move toward the Overman, you must risk, create, and transform. It is not an easy path, but it is the only path to true greatness. The Overman is not a goal to be reached once, but a direction to live toward every single day. One of Nietzsche's most profound thought experiments is the idea of eternal recurrence. Imagine that one night, as you lie in bed, a voice whispers to you, "This life you are living, you must live it again and again, countless times, exactly the same, with every joy, every pain, every mistake, and every triumph repeated eternally." How would you react? Would you collapse in despair, unable to bear the thought of reliving your struggles forever? Or would you embrace it joyfully, knowing that your life is so full, so authentic, and so meaningful that you would gladly choose it again? This is not meant to be taken literally, but as a test of how you are living. If the thought of eternal recurrence fills you with dread, it means you are living inauthentically, trapped in regrets and compromises. If, however, you could accept it, even love it, it means you are living fully, with purpose and intensity. Nietzsche designed this thought experiment to shake us out of complacency. Too many people drift through life, waiting for the right time, postponing their dreams, and tolerating mediocrity. But if you had to repeat this life forever, would you still waste your days? Eternal recurrence forces you to confront the truth: every choice matters infinitely. Every action echoes eternally. The lesson is simple yet radical: live in such a way that you would want your life exactly as it is, on repeat, forever. This requires courage, honesty, and an unshakable commitment to authenticity. It demands that you stop postponing and start living as if eternity depends on every moment. When you embrace this perspective, your priorities shift. Petty concerns fade away. What remains is the urgency to live meaningfully, to love your fate, and to craft a life so true that you would gladly relive it endlessly. Nietzsche believed that greatness is born not in times of comfort, but in the fire of struggle. To him, suffering was not something to be avoided, it was the raw material from which strength is forged. He looked at history and saw that every powerful thinker, artist, or leader was shaped by hardship. Struggle, when embraced, forces us to grow, while comfort slowly weakens us. Nietzsche's philosophy warns us: if you avoid pain at all costs, you also avoid the chance to transform. Think about the strongest people you know, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. Almost always, they have gone through something difficult: loss, failure, rejection, or sacrifice. Instead of letting it break them, they used it as fuel. Nietzsche called this the will to power in action, the ability to take chaos and turn it into order, to take suffering and turn it into strength. He even admired the way artists and philosophers used their struggles to create beauty and wisdom. For him, pain was never wasted if it led to growth. But most people run from struggle. They seek shortcuts, easy paths, or distractions. Nietzsche would say this is why mediocrity is so common: people want results without pain, progress without sacrifice. Yet without struggle, life becomes flat and shallow. The question is not whether you will suffer, the question is what you will do with your suffering. Will you use it to rise, or let it crush you? Practically, this means reframing your challenges. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" you must ask, "How can this make me stronger?" Every obstacle, every rejection, every setback is a test. Will you resist, adapt, and grow, or will you give in? Nietzsche invites us to see pain not as punishment but as opportunity. Just like muscles grow only through resistance, the soul grows only through struggle. By embracing this truth, you step into a higher kind of strength, the strength that transforms pain into power and chaos into creation. Perhaps Nietzsche's most life-changing idea is captured in two simple words: amor fati, which means love of fate. It is not enough, he argued, to simply accept life. You must learn to love it, exactly as it is, with all its flaws, hardships, and imperfections. For Nietzsche, true strength is not just surviving difficulties, but embracing them so deeply that you would not wish them away. Every event, every failure, every heartbreak becomes essential, because it shapes the person you are becoming. Amor fati is more radical than simple acceptance. Acceptance says, "I cannot change this, so I will endure it." Amor fati says, "This, too, is necessary, and I would not be who I am without it." Think about your own past. The struggles you once hated, did they not give you resilience, insight, or clarity? The mistakes you regret, did they not shape your wisdom? Amor fati asks you to stop resisting life and instead see everything, even pain, as part of the masterpiece you are creating. Imagine two people facing the same hardship. One curses their fate, blames others, and sinks deeper into resentment. The other says, "This is my test, my fire, my chance to grow." Which one lives with more freedom, more strength, more creativity. A more fatty frees you from bitterness. It shifts your mindset from life is against me to life is for me, even when it hurts. Nietzsche believed that the masters of life are those who can say yes to existence, not only to joy but to suffering, not only to success but to failure. To love your fate means to love the whole of it, the beauty and the struggle, the wins and the losses, the light and the darkness. This is the ultimate affirmation of life. If you can reach this state of mind, no circumstance can enslave you, because you will see every fate as your ally in becoming who you are meant to be. Nietzsche's philosophy is not comfortable, it is not meant to be. It does not offer quick happiness, easy solutions, or false promises. Instead, it challenges you to confront life directly, without illusions. It asks you to embrace struggle instead of fleeing it, to discover meaning instead of waiting for it, to shape yourself instead of copying others, and to love fate instead of resenting it. In his eyes, life was not something to be endured passively, it was a battlefield, an artwork, and a test of courage. The question is, will you rise to that challenge? Will you dare to live as if your life must be repeated eternally? Will you have the strength to say yes not only to joy, but also to suffering? Will you create your own values instead of inheriting the hollow ones of the crowd? Most people will never attempt this. They will remain as the last man, comfortable, safe, and empty. But if even a few individuals choose differently, if they dare to rise, to fight, to create, then they can become the overmen, the ones who carry humanity forward. Nietzsche's message is not for the weak-hearted. It is for those who are tired of living as shadows, those who refuse mediocrity, those who are willing to pay the price for greatness. His call echoes across time: become who you are. Love your fate. Rise through struggle. Create your own meaning. Live so fully that you would choose this life again and again, for eternity. The choice is yours. Will you remain as you are, or will you become more?